Hello everyone, this is Lucy05 and welcome to the Romance Toy review. And today, we're looking at the 1986 release by Hasbro of the G.I. Joe Vehicle and Action Figure review. And today's Vehicle and Action Figure review, we're looking at the Dreadnok Thunder Machine and the Dreadnok member Thrasher. Now, I got this straight from eBay, and this whole entire set here cost me $20, which is actually not bad of a deal here. Well, of course, it's totally complete minus the box and the instruction manual, but everything is, well, as shown here, all complete with no damages at all, which is a very nice deal here. So, without further ado, let's start off our review with Thrasher first. Be right back. And we're back, and this time we'll take a look at the Thrasher figure. But first things first, let's take a look at the file card. Now, the file card can easily be obtained at the Thunder Machine's packaging. At the back portion of the packaging itself, you have the cutout as indicated at the cutout line at the file card itself. And this file card belongs to the previous owner, so it's still in good shape. Now, let's take a look at the file card itself. Top section there, stated code name Thrasher Thunder Machine Driver. Here we have the image of Thrasher itself. This is the same artwork that you find at the front portion of the Thunder Machine packaging. He is actually driving the Thunder Machine vehicle. Now, in the write-up, which is pretty long, stated Thrasher was spoiled rotten as a child by his nice middle-class parents in their nice middle-class neighborhood. He was never disciplined, since his parents believed this would quote-unquote stifle energies he might need later in life. Thrasher was never denied anything he asked for, even though everything, as you can see underlined there, he asked for would end up causing some type of unexplainable destruction or minor disaster. He got everything he wanted, but that wasn't enough. At a tender young age, this quote-unquote wildcard wandered into the swamps where he could do what he pleased. It was in the swamps where he met up with Zartan and the Dreadnoks and was welcomed into the fold. Now, at the bottom section, someone quoted, even by Dreadnok standards, this guy is pretty low. He derives a slight sensation which almost registers as pleasure on his primitive central nervous system from inflicting misery onto others. Very nice. And at the back portion of the card is part of the cardboard itself from the packaging. Now move that one side. Let's take a look at Thrasher's accessory. Now Thrasher here comes with his trusty old spike weapon here, or mace, which is actually quite simplistic. The entire thing is made of a black plastic material color, no paint job at all, and the details is quite simple. As you can see, the whole design of it is an improvised spike weapon, improvised mace. We have a lariat attached with a spike ball on the top. You can see the details of the spike ball on the top here, very nice. Now, what's the problem with this spike weapon, this mace itself, is that the handle itself is a bit too thick for your vintage 1986 Thrasher figure to hold, or any other figures to hold, because now you will notice for the old G.I. Joe action figures, the whole entire figure is made of a hard plastic material. So when they design the hand itself, especially for this one, as you can see here, this is the distance between the thumb and the fingers. So to slip in something this thick, you need to slowly nudge it in. Problem is that you might stress the plastic for the thumb itself. So when you do manage to slip in this weapon onto his hand, this is the distance that it causes the thumb to spread apart. You see the two thumbs there. Well, this one is a bit more further out, and this one is a bit more, well, this is where the original distance would be located. So it's still able to hold it, but I suggest to be more careful because it's made of a hard plastic. The most common problem with a G.I. Joe figure back for the 80s and early 90s figures is because of the hard plastic they use for the entire figure, especially on the hands itself, unlike the modern figures for the 25th anniversary to the 30th anniversary line, which uses a softer plastic material. Because for the old figures, the thumb tends to stress out, the plastic itself tends to stress out, and eventually it will break if you keep on stuffing weapons or accessories that's well, a bit too big for it to slip into, and you wanted to really have the figure to hold the weapons, you have to stuff it in, and that tends to stretch the plastic. And God knows how many figures for my vintage G.I. Joe figures tend to have this problem when I was a kid. Well, having a snapped, well, thumb. So that's all for the accessory itself. Let's take a look at Thrasher's paint job. Now, Thrasher's paint job is absolutely well done. There's a lot of nice colors going on there, a lot of variety of colors. The entire head is made of a flesh tone plastic material color, but the hair is painted in black. But one side of the hair is painted in neon green, although because this is a 1986 figure, so some of the paint job starts to crack and fade off, as you can see there. But still very nice. His eyebrows and his eyes is painted in black as well. Now, the torso here is made of a flesh tone plastic material color. Underneath the armor, he's wearing a green tattered shirt, more towards the swamp green. And here, his armor itself, more like a football padded armor, painted in light gray, and from the man boobs there, the letter V has been painted in mud brown. Top section of the shoulders here, the pads has been painted in black with silver paint job on the spines itself. Now the arms is also made of a flesh tone plastic material color, but also uses the same colors as the armor itself. The lower section of the shoulder armor here is painted in mud brown. The upper section of the armor itself is painted in gray. Now, what's interesting to note is that the gloves is painted in two entirely different designs. Here at the wrist there is a leather wrist guard with studded spikes, small little studded spikes that's painted in, silver. Of course, the leather itself is painted in black. Now, his glove is also painted in gray. On the other side, the entire glove itself is painted in black, but inside of the hands itself, or inside of the gloves itself, is painted in gray. Now, the crotch area here is actually made of a gray plastic material color, but it's painted at the belt there in black with the studded spikes painted in silver. Even the belt buckle itself is painted in silver, but there's a little bit of, paint mishap. Some of the silver paint job managed to smudge onto the black belt, but then again, I'm still okay with it because, this is a 1986 figure, so it's bound to happen during those time anyway. At the back portion there, the belt is painted in black, so does the spikes painted in silver. The entire legs is made of a black plastic material color. The thigh section there, the gray paddings is painted in gray, of course. While the kneecaps is painted in silver, and so does the front portion of the boots itself. The spines is painted in silver, and the entire boots is painted in gray. Very nice colors for Thrasher here. Now, let's take a look at the figure's mold. Now, this is a 1986 figure, and when they first released the Thrasher figure, everything on this figure's body mold is not even reused at all. Everything here was original when it was released in 1986. Everything here is original, unique to Thrasher alone. They did try to, reuse some of the parts after a few years later, but still, they didn't actually use his parts that much. So this is the starting point for the Thrasher body mold, of course. Now, here we have the head mold here, and he has this, I would say, more towards to very 70s, very 60s styles of hairstyle, but of course you have to mix in a little bit of punk hair dye as well with neon green, more towards to a little bit like Mad Max style, post-apocalyptic Mad Max style hairstyle with the body armor going on. As you can see, I really love the body armor. It reminds me of those biker gangs in the Mad Max or Fist of the North Star. You got the spikes coming from the shoulders itself, tattered t-shirt inside. Oh, let's not forget he has two abs there, which looks kind of weird. Of course, it's actually supposed to be 4-pack, but in the long distance away, it looks like he only has two packs. But if you look up close, it actually is 4 packs on the top and 2 more underneath. Still not bad, very nicely done. You got the shoulder armor itself, and the design for the mold itself is also so unique that each side of the gloves itself is also different in design. Very nice. One large glove on one side, the other one smaller glove with spiked leather, well, leather studded spikes. And then we have the crotch area with all the spikes being shown, small little pouches as well, very nicely done. And let's not forget his black pants with, of course, spike sprouting out from his belt there. Very nice. You got the large kneecap as well. Very well done. The design is quite nicely done, and it does look vaguely similar to the, or actually it would look almost the same as any characters found in the Mad Max movies, or, well, Fist of the North Star. To those who actually enjoy those kind of post-apocalyptic biker gangs in the, well, in the desert type world. Very nice. Let's take a look at the figure's articulation. Now, bear in mind, this is a 1986 figure, so articulation is limited. Head can only go left and right, can go up a little bit, down a little bit, side to side a little bit. Torso is made of an O-ring, so you can only twist it left and right. You cannot twist it to 360 degrees unless you really want to snap the O-ring rubber band. Can go back a little bit, forward a little bit, side to side. Shoulder joints here can turn 360 degrees and lift the shoulders this high. Elbow joint here can bend this far and turn 360 degrees. No wrist joint, of course. This is an old vintage figure. Then hip joints there move forward, straight, side to a little bit, and knee joint that bends this far. Very nice. Let's arm him with his weapon, like so. Overall, I really like the Thrasher figure because the color combination, the mold design is very nice. What I really didn't like is the weapon that they designed for him. The weapon, the spike weapon itself, the handle is a bit too thick for him to hold properly, and you'll end up stressing the thumb plastic at that kind of a cost. But for me, as long as I don't mess around with it too much, I'm still alright with it. Still, the figure is absolutely excellent. If I'm going to give a rating out of this, despite that it doesn't come with a lot of accessory, he does have his own vehicle, I say I give it a nice, well, a nice 10 out of 10 for Thrasher here. Yes, 10 out of 10. You haven't heard that wrong. This is a very excellent figure. I really enjoyed it. I love the design and I love the colors. And what's more, and I'm a fan of post-apocalyptic movies like Mad Max movies, so yes, it reminds me a lot for this figure. So yes, 10 out of 10 for Thrasher. Next up, let's take a look at the Thunder Machine. Be right back. And we're back, and this time we'll take a look at the Thunder Machine. So let's take a look at the size comparison for this vehicle. Now, next to me is the Thrasher figure, and you can see the size of this vehicle. Actually, by the length of it, it's actually not bad, but the height is a bit short, but it's still alright. It's a nice little vehicle here. Now, for the colors applied for the vehicle, bear in mind this is a 1986 toy, so there's absolutely no paint job involved. Majority of the parts are, as you can see, in dark blue plastic material color for the body itself, the back of the rocket engine itself, the antenna, even the top section of the grille, and also the front portion of the grille itself made of a dark blue plastic material color. Bottom section of the vehicle is made of a dark red plastic material color, so that's the shield for the side of the vehicle. The side doors here, a bit of armor from the front, and the roof, and this piece that mounts the dual barrel minigun is made of a dark red plastic material color, and the rest of the parts are made of black plastic material color, like the engines, the dual barrel miniguns, the wheels itself, not counting the tires, the front portion of the vehicle, this section here, and let's not forget the steering wheel. And for the minigun's belt feet, the ammo belt feet, and the wheels itself is made of a rubber plastic material. they are softer rubber plastic material, so it's actually not bad. Now let's take a look at the details on the Thunder Machine. Now, besides the colors itself, it also still has its sticker labels, but some of the sticker labels has been damaged, and some of it are still missing. Like there's supposed to be a Cobra logo on the side here, but it's missing. But here we have a Cobra logo on one side here in black. The amount of stars placed onto the side of the door indicated that how many G.I. Joe, perhaps vehicles or personnel that this vehicle has managed to destroy, which is quite impressive kill count there. Now on the top section of the roof, we have this section here, we have a lot of spotlights or headlights. We also have headlights from the front here, but this one is missing one sticker label for the headlight. We have spotlights on the top here, and what's interesting to note for the Thunder Machine is that the top section of the vehicle, this is what looks like a police flashing lights, what you normally find on the police vehicle on the top of the roof. Now the entire vehicle design is actually all improvised, and you would actually call it a Frankenstein vehicle that Thrasher made. Very interesting. Here we have a Cobra logo on this section as well. On the bottom section here, it's stated 30 mm or 30mm cannon, but basically it's just a dual barrel miniguns there. Very nice. Now, front portion of the vehicle, we have the grille itself, but the grille is the most delicate piece plastic there. Majority of the sellers in eBay tend to sell off their Thunder Machine with broken pieces from the grille itself, because this is really delicate and very thin in plastic. Here we have the front portion of the vehicle. The details is actually not bad. Top section on the vehicle, what used to be the vehicle's hood, has been replaced by dual barrel miniguns. Got a nice mold of the minigun here, and yes, it does turn, badly, but on the bottom section here we have the belt feet. It can still turn if you pull it, as you can see that. So you have to pull it on the other side as well, just to even out the length of the belt feet. We have rubber tires and plastic rims, very nice, and the details of the rubber tires is quite nicely done. Very nice. Bottom section of the vehicle has not, they don't actually put a lot of details there. Actually, there's no details at all. On the side of the vehicle, we have platforms from each side of the vehicle. 4 pegs are found on the platform. You can actually place 2 figures in one single platform. That means you can place 2 figures here, 2 more figures on the other side, and 2 more figures sitting inside the vehicle, which holds about 6 figures. Very nice. Now, what interesting to know about this vehicle is that Thrasher made this vehicle with one side mirror. The other side doesn't have a side mirror. You got a nicer armor piece here as well, and the doors do not swing onto the sides, but more towards upwards, as you can see here. And here we have the seating inside the vehicle, 2 seats there. In the middle we have all the details. We have the steering wheel as well, which turn 360 degrees. Very nice. Dashboard as well, with a little bit of details on the mold. We have an antenna on one side here. Very nice. Also, this is one of the more delicate pieces compared to the rest of the plastic. It's almost similar to the front portion of the grille. It tends to snap off, or one of the pieces that tends to disappear quite easily, because it doesn't have any pegs at the bottom, so you don't actually snap it in. It tends to fall off by its own if it's too loose. We also have the shield to cover the rear tires as well. Very nice. Here comes the details of the back engine, quite nicely done. We have a really large rocket thrusters there. Very nicely done. Nothing to cover the engine, typical of Thrasher. And the back portion here, we have sticker labels for the rear lights, but they don't actually bother to put mold of the rear lights itself, so it looks pretty bland and flat. However, this vehicle also have a hookup as well, as you can see that. And if you're wondering if this vehicle rolls well or not, yes, it does. it rolls pretty well. It doesn't squeak at all. Another nice thing about this vehicle is the two front wheels here can actually go side to side. Very nice. Now let's place in the Thrasher figure. First I'm going to bring the Thrasher figure inside, fold the legs, fold the arms, slip it in. Now for a vintage figure, he can slip into the vehicle quite easily, no problem. But if you're wondering, does it fit in a new figure? Well, that's a bit of a challenge. Sort of fit in. Here we have the 30th anniversary Thunder figure. Now for you to fit in this figure, you need to do a few things. First, we have to remove the top section of the roof. Second, we have to remove the steering wheel, because the steering wheel hinders you from slipping in the figure itself. Then we place the figure inside like so, and you have to slowly nudge it in, otherwise he would not fit in quite well at all. I would try to place the figure in a more, I would say, as much as possible, trying to squeeze him underneath the vehicle as much as possible. As you can see, his head is still a bit too tall, but it's still alright. Let's place in the steering wheel. There's the hole. There you go, steering wheel is done. Place in the side doors. And snap in this piece here. There you go. The new figure placed inside the Thunder Machine. On this one, snap in the wrong place. Give me a moment. There you go. Very nice. Of course, it won't fit in any other figures, so far Thunder here from the Dreadnok battle set can actually fit into the Thunder Machine, which is, I'm really glad. That's the whole reason I bought the whole entire vehicle and the figure itself. So yes, if I'm going to give a rating on this vehicle, the problem with this vehicle is because of some of the parts which is quite delicate. It tends to snap off quite easily. Second, some of the details are not really nicely done, especially on the back portion of the vehicle. It looks really bland. But the vehicle does offer quite a number of details, from the engine, the inside of the vehicle itself. We also have dual mounted minigun for the hood itself, which is really awesome. And rubber wheels that move left and right, very nice. Though it doesn't fit in a lot of figures, it does place in the figures onto the platform itself. Yes, you can still fit in a 30th anniversary Thunder figure, but you have to be extra careful on how to deal with it. Just like what I shown to you, just remove the roof part, the side door, and the steering wheel, so you can place it in the figure much more better. So if I'm going to give a rating out of this, I would say I'll give it a nice 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for the Dreadnok Thunder Machine. So I thank you all for watching. This is Lucy05 and I'm signing off.